guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. Very quickly, I'm going to be streaming games and other news content over at rumble.com. You can follow my channel over there at Odd Man Out. The Bachelor stuff has been great. I've been doing it for 5 years. I'll still continue to do it. I always love doing this kind of stuff. This story I'm going to be talking about today where she didn't like his jokes, so she literally set him on fire, put a guy in the hospital for in an induced coma for several weeks because he said a joke, and they were lifelong friends. Maybe men and women shouldn't be friends after all. But anyway, I'm going to be expanding the content I do, start talking about news a little bit more, current events, and just expanding on the things that I talk about. And I do a heck of a lot of live streaming now over on Rumble. So if you like my content, or you just, I don't know, like hanging out with other people, we're going to be doing live streams where you open up the chat and anybody can pretty much talk about anything over on Rumble because YouTube doesn't allow that. So if you like that, jump over to rumble.com. They have the app, of course. It works quite well now. And join my channel on Odd Man Out. I'd appreciate it if you did. Or, of course, you can always become a supporter over on betterbachelor.locals.com. So basically, a 24-year-old Australian woman set her friend on fire for making misogynistic remark. Now, this story in and of itself isn't really the important thing, other than the fact that it's gone very viral because of the quote-unquote misogynistic remark. He simply made a joke, as we all make jokes about making a sandwich, get in the kitchen. I mean, as if we can't have a society where we joke anymore. As you guys know, I'm often talking about supplementation, simply because in today's environment and with our food products that are out there, we're not getting the nutrients we need, and our environment is extremely toxic. And on top of that, there are breakthroughs in science that are leading to great innovation. One of those products is NMN, brought to you by Black Forest Supplements. NMN, or nicotinamide mononucleotide, is an anti-aging product that also helps repair tissue, repair cells, and repair muscle. Let me play you this clip from Joe Rogan's podcast where he's talking to Dr. David Sinclair of Harvard Medical School on how they actually discover the product and what it does.
I also take supplements, and in fact, most of my colleagues are in the field of aging, or anti-aging, as people call it. So I take NMN every morning.
What is NMN?
Good question. So let me take a quick step back.
Sure.
So about 20 years ago, Lenny Guarente and a team of us at MIT discovered a set of genes that controls aging. And what they do is they protect all organisms on the planet, plants, bacteria, humans, from deterioration and disease. They're like the Pentagon. They sense when we're hungry, sense when we're exercising, and they send out the troops to defend us.
NMN is clutch when it comes to restoring NAD. And NAD, of course, is the energy driver in your cells. It reverses the aging process and prevents age-associated diseases, supports healthy aging, supports heart health, muscle health, cellular energy, brain health, and supports defense and repair. It's not going to replace a workout, but it does mimic many of the effects you get from working out. The best combination is to not only work out, but then to take NAD to repair your cells and help you live longer and healthier. Right now, you can try NMN, Anti-Aging, and NAD Plus for 40% off with my promo only. It's good for the next 48 hours. Links are down below as always, or go to blackforestsupplements.com/bachelor. NMN, Anti-Aging, NAD Plus, blackforestsupplements.com/bachelor. And the news picked this up because specifically it was over a misogynistic report. And that's why this is news. But this does go to show you that if you have a female friend, or when women have been drinking and doing other illicit substances, they'll come up with any excuse not to take accountability for what they've done, but to basically, flip out. An Australian woman, allegedly, it's not allegedly, it has now been confirmed, and she has been sentenced for the crime. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to leave out the word allegedly because she done it, according to a court. An Australian woman lit her longtime friend on fire because he made a misogynistic remark during a wild night of partying, a court heard earlier this month. Corby Jean Walpole, 24, pleaded guilty in... Oh, wait. How are you going to say allegedly and then later say she pled guilty? Idiots. Albury District Court to the arson attack on Jake Loader, 23, saying she felt overwhelmed by his antagonistic behavior throughout the night before she was finally set off by a sexist remark he made during a house party in New South Wales last year, according to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Even they're writing to basically give her the pass for what she did. Loader told Walpole she should stay in the kitchen making scones if she couldn't handle a night out drinking with the boys, which sent the 24-year-old into a rage, the court heard, according to the outlet. She grabbed a gallon of gasoline from the garage and doused Loader with flammable substance waving a lighter at him threateningly. "Go on, do it," he yelled at his friend, who was drunk and had consumed coke, she confessed. She then touched him with a lighter, setting him ablaze, according to the testimony. Okay, first of all, if you get so mad at somebody, you then decide to plan to go to the garage, search through it for some gasoline, come back, pour it on him, and granted, he'd been drinking too, so he probably didn't think a good lifelong friend would do this to him, where he said, "Go ahead, do it, I dare you," and she does. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's premeditated murder. Loader sustained burns to 55% of his body and had some of his sweat glands burned off. He was put in a medically induced coma for 8 days after the attack, according to a victim impact statement read by the court. Now, I'm not sure why they necessarily put people in medically induced coma, but I think probably because the pain was so great, they would have had to keep him knocked out while his pain receptors and his nerves regrew and all of that. If some of you are doctors, you can let me know. But I would think it's just because they'd have to either load him with pain ending chemicals for basically 10 days, or they could just put him in sleep where he wouldn't feel anything. He required 10 operations and spent 74 days in a burn unit at Melbourne Hospital, according to the statement. What I think is interesting is they post this photo, but they didn't show him afterwards what happened. And usually in a lot of these stories, you do see something like that. The friend cannot step outside into the sun because of the extensive epidermal damage, this statement said. So basically, he has to avoid the sun for the rest of his life. Walpole told the court she'd been using drugs and alcohol since a breakup in 2022 and regretted the heartless act. So really, it's really not about his statement. It's just that she spurged out over a joke. The firebug. I love how you call it. Oh, let's give her a cutesy name. The firebug. The firebug claimed during the trial she was pushed to the edge by Loader, who tried to wrestle with her and is being continuously antagonistic throughout. Look, guys wrestle, friends make inappropriate comments. That's what we do. That's why I have locals, because that's basically all we do is give each other a hard time. I find it very hard to believe the injuries were caused from my doing. I would do anything to go back in time. You doused a man in gasoline, lit him up on fire, and then you're like, I can't believe that all of that damage was just from lighting a man ablaze. The craziness. This is what happens when women don't have to have accountability for their actions. They have no idea what their actions can do by the time they're 24. You know, one of the things that if you look at studies, children that have fathers do very well in one specific area, because fathers will roughhouse with the kids a little bit. And when the kids do something that is overstepping or go too far, the father reels it back in and say, hey, this is what happens when you do X, Y, or Z. Mothers don't tend to do that. Mothers coddle children. So she probably didn't have a dad in her life. And again, I'm guessing, but she probably didn't have a dad in her life that pushed back and said, hey, you know, your consequences have actions. You need to chill out. She pleaded guilty to one charge of burning or maiming by using corrosive fluid. Why not attempted murder? I mean, that's really what it was. She's due back in court this month for sentencing. Well, I have the sentencing. She's sentenced for lighting her friend on fire. She's going to get 7.5 years in prison for setting her friend on fire. Judge Jennifer English, a female judge, surprisingly, described the act as violence fueled by drugs and heavy drinking. This is a tragic case in so many ways for the victim and his family, the offender and her family, 2 young lives destroyed. She had consumed between 23 and 35 standard drinks as well as Coke, and they returned to her backyard to continue drinking. You're going to tell me his joke deserved for him to get lit on fire? Look at 23 to 35 drinks. How she wasn't in a coma. I'm surprised she even remembers doing it, to be honest with you. Well, that's not the big part. The big part is the reaction from the feminists. And this is really the part of the story that pissed me off. From Men Being Awful, which is Pink Cells on X, he shouldn't have made a misogynistic comment. Men can't take accountability. And she's quoting this story. 2.7, so 2,700 likes. What do you mean he can't take accountability? He literally got burned almost to death. And you're saying he can't take accountability? And besides that, it was a joke. So now these feminists are giving themselves a hall pass to light people on fire if they don't like their statements. This really is the news. This should be a follow-up story in the newspaper. Well, I shouldn't say newspaper. They don't exist anymore. On the web. F it, we brawl said he told her to stay in the kitchen, so she literally cooked him. This diva saying that what she did, not only is it a good thing, but calls her a diva, cheering her on. This is the part that's frightening. 370,000 likes. And then here's the replies by this and other people. Why are men acting so emotional and dramatic here? Get the F out. Why are we acting dramatic? Because a man made a joke to a longtime friend and she lit him on fire. Was his clothes flammable because he was asking for it at that point? Was the fire hurt when it happened? F-A-F-O, F around and find out. Hopefully her sentence is lenient. He played a part in this and shouldn't be free of responsibility. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Look at this face. It says, F it, I'll do it again. 500 likes. You know, if you want to really know why channels like mine exist and why men are so furious and why men are checking out of the system, this is why. If things had been reversed, and the whataboutism always sucks, but in today's society, we have to do it. If this was a story about her making a comment about him being a dude bro, whatever, and he lit her up, the entire internet would be supporting her. And the group of people that weren't supporting her and then went hard against her, saying, well, she deserved it, or LOL, she had it coming, or she cooked, or whatever. Not only would those people probably get banned from social media if it was anywhere other than X, people would be calling for their doxing and their outing, number one. And number two, the New York Post, the next day or two, would have a story. Hundreds or thousands of men come out and celebrate a man burning a woman alive. You know this is the double standard, and this is why men are checking out. I have another story I've got planned for tomorrow. I won't bury the lead here. I stuck him with a fork and reversed over him in my car, the secret Facebook page where women brag about hurting men, about violence towards men. This is the stuff I'm talking about. It's always a one-way street. If a man makes a snide comment, he must be accountable. But a woman can literally set a dude on fire and it's like, LOL, he deserved it. If this is the society we're in, do you wonder why men are checking out? Do you wonder why men don't want to participate in the workforce other than enough to keep themselves basically fed and housed to some degree? Do you wonder why men don't want to pay for dates? Do you want to know why men don't ask women out? Because they're insufferable and awful and entitled. And this feminism is deep to the roots of our society now. So much so that you've got conservative men and women in our government that can't help but repeat feminist talking points. That it's expected for men to make good money and support a family and to be the main bread earners and to protect their wives. But in the same breath, we'll turn around and say women owe men nothing for that privilege. We're in a dark place, man, I'm telling you. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to upload this over to YouTube. Today, we're going to be doing a marathon stream over on Rumble. I'm not sure which game I'm going to stream, either X4 or the new Tainted Avalon or maybe some Oblivion, something. We're going to stream something, maybe multiple ones, depending on how long the stream goes. So come on over, check it out. We'll keep the chat open all day. You guys can chat and ham it up and have fun and discuss various topics you think are interesting. And that way we can have a cool chat space for the day. I'll leave it there. We'll see you guys in the next one.